Hi, Tail Ray here. All successful businesses require data storage and manipulation for functionality or UX purposes. Such manipulation is done through the CRUD framework: creating, reading, updating, deleting. Today, you will do it with Vue.js as front-end and Firebase as back-end. However, you will do it with a twist. You will include duplication and sorting function as well. What we need are as follows. Creation. We need a form for user input. We need to check if the user input fit our criteria, and then we need to submit it to the database. Reading. We need a multi-view table to view all of the entries, and also a single view form for a single entry. Update. It is the same as creating, except we are updating the values to an already existing entry. Delete. It is just an operation of deleting by specifying the path and document ID. Duplicating. It is same as creating, except we copy the form from the existing entry. Sorting. We will need an indexing field and a multi-view table with sortable. And finally, we need a mean to switch in between all these different operations, which are just a set of Boolean values: adding, editing, sorting, and viewing, coupled with the VIF and VElseIf in Vue. For creation, it flows like this. First, the user click add, then the user fill in the form. After that, the user clicks submit. You will check if the data conforms to our conditions. Then we add it to database if yes, or display the error messages if not. From the flow, we know that we need a JSON to contain the data, which we will call form, another JSON to contain the error messages, which we will call error message, and a simple boolean for switching to adding. To implement this, in the multi-view, we will add an add button, tying it to the add start function. In the add start function, we start off with an empty form and error message JSON, and also we will set the adding condition to true. Then we create a div which we will only show when adding, and declare a cancel button that sets adding to false, a submit button which is tied to the submit function, and all the fields included, bound to our JSON with vModel. In the submit function, we will copy the form to a local variable and then check if each field satisfies our condition, and update the error messages if there is an error, or submit it to database if it passes our test. Reading. It is simple. We just need to pull our data from the database and list it in a multi-view table. Don't forget to add the add, sort, edit, view, delete, duplicate buttons like so. Add button is tied to add start, sort button is tied to sort start, edit button to edit start, view button to view start, delete button to delete item, and the duplicate button to duplicate. Updating. We will reuse the form and error messages found in the creation part. However, in the edit start function, we are copying the pre-existing item into the form, and then we set editing to true to start the editing phase. Besides, we will also need to change the submit function so that when we submit, it is updating a pre-existing item. This is done by storing the ID in the edit start function and then reusing it in the submit function. Deletion. Simply pass in the path and the ID and then call the delete function from Firebase. That's it. Duplicating. The code is the same with updating. However, we set adding to true instead of editing. Sorting. In this case, we are using sortable from jQuery. To set it up, we have to create a sorting div. Inside, we are creating a cancel button and also a sort submit button. Finally, we need a multi-view for each of the elements so that the user can drag and drop the sequence. Note that we have to set the ID of this multi-view, and then each element will also have an ID bound to the index. When the users click on sort start, we set sorting equals true. In the next tick callback, we run the jQuery. This is to ensure that the DOM is already updated and we can use jQuery on the multi-table. Once the user finishes reordering, when they click on sort submit, we will obtain the new sequence of indices using jQuery's sortable and passing in the toArray argument. Now, this will return the new sequence, and then we just have to update each document like so. That is all for CRUD with duplication and sorting. You can download the codes used in this video on our GitHub repo, link in the description below. But wait, let's add even more functions such as Excel implementation with CRUD.ds, our CRUD generator. After defining the name text field with 5 to 50 characters limit, description with 300 characters limit, price with 2 decimal places, and minimum value of 0.01, we click generate, and 30 minutes of work is done under 3 minutes. Not only that, it also has all of the functions we made in this video extended with Excel capabilities and searching. If you would like to try out CRUD.ds, we are having a free premium month for our first 50 users. Claim yours before it ends, just use the code init50. Did you find this useful? Subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to teach you how to reduce document reads in Cloud Firestore in the next video. Share it with whoever would find this useful, and as always, take care and happy coding.